it's 7 o'clock, calling the Conservation Commission meeting to order. We'll report attendance and we'll start with Eugene.
Jean Belgrowski Hinshaw.
And I do need to appoint, Susan, I need to appoint you as a regular member tonight because we have a person absent. And so you can, you're appointed, let us know you're here.
So, Susan Brown.
If someone is online, we have to say our name. We have to.
Well, you have an online minute taker from the recording. You have to say your name every single time.
Yes.
Jay Wallens. Present.
Shirley Green, present.
Peter Hurst, present. Ed Rippey, present.
I'm Kate Plumley Stewart. And I'm also just a second trying to join online because
Now,
trying to run both these computers.
Tom Claus and Steph Schray are both excused. They notified us they couldn't be here. So the next thing on our agenda, whoops, Craig isn't here yet. The next thing on our agenda is, would you like to report on your meeting with
Sure.
Canaan Conservation Commission? Well, say your name first.
Jay Wallens, reporting on a meeting I had with the Canaan Conservation Commission regarding developing a collaboration between our two commissions for education in Mascoma schools. So I met with them for their meeting. I was first on the agenda. They had a busy agenda, so I didn't have a lot of time. And they basically talked about their meeting. They met with an administrator, and I'm sorry, it was either a superintendent or the principal of the high school, one of the two. And that person was very interested in doing hands-on stuff, field trips, hands-on, getting the kids out of the school and doing stuff like that. That seemed to be one of the more important things that he would like to do. I also found out that my contact, Jen Fitzgerald, is no longer there. So she was my contact. I just went through her for my classes because I was going through her environmental sciences class. So they went through the principal or the administrator. So they're looking at it in a more broad way. The way we left it was, since they have made contact, and I don't really have an up-to-date contact now, they're gonna find out who the science teachers are, and they're gonna get a feel of what the teachers are really interested in, and then they'll contact me. And I did say that I would like to continue doing the awareness meetings for the conservation commissions like I've been doing, and they were fine with that. So I think once they make contact, I think they're gonna contact us and tell us what came up of that. And the next step will be to develop a subcommittee between two groups, whether it's separate subcommittee or they come to one of our meetings or we all go to one of their meetings and just work on a program for the schools, for what we really want to do. So that's, like I said, I only had like 15 minutes. So that's what they had for me. And that's what I learned from them.
That's good. Sounds good.
Yeah, so I'm waiting to hear from them. That's the way it is right now. And if I don't hear from them soon, then I'll reach out to them too, okay? And then we'll go from there. And like I said, I do want to keep the awareness things going, and then we'll come up with some other ideas, you know? They were very into doing some outside field trip type things, outside the school things, which are fine. I'm happy doing stuff like that too. And I'm sure some of us might be interested in doing stuff like that. Susan?
Well,
Your name?
you probably know, and I
Susan?
know. Yes,
Name.
Susan Brown. The kindergarten teacher here at the elementary school has those kids out at least once a week, walking around town, walking on the rail trail, up at the foundation for the old Bedstead factory. And she would be a wonderful person to talk to. She's been there, what, 300 years?
No, she's my age. She's in the 300, yeah.
Oh, but
Yeah.
she's really good at getting the kids out.
Yeah.
And the
Sure.
other thing that you probably might want to emphasize, today, a great big trailer pulled up and it was full of bicycles. And it was the Estabrook Christian School from Plainfield who brought all their kids from this tall to this tall on bicycles to ride on a rail trail down to Lakeside Park and back and have a picnic. We have a wonderful resource.
Mhm. We do. Sure do.
Yep.
I'll just say on,
Peter had his hand up.
oh, sorry, Peter.
Hi,
Peter,
I know who I am, I don't have to.
You have
Yeah.
to say
No,
it every single time.
Say our names
Oh,
for the new
oh, everybody.
secretary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because he's not gonna know who's speaking.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Peter Hurst. I was wondering if you know, or if you got a sense of whether there are, following up on both your and Susan's comment, other school organizations, for instance, Mascoma High School have a green club or an outing club or a four H future
Jaywalks, they
farmers
do, yeah.
type.
Yeah, so that some of the, yeah, they talked about some of the clubs at the high school. We basically talked, Jay Wallace, we talked about just the high school program. We never got into the kids and stuff, but you know, that's where we're at right now, but it's a work in progress.
It'll grow.
Comment to Peter, there are 4-H clubs here. There's one starting up at Canaan next week. And there's one here in Enfield that isn't quite as well organized as I think. the
Well,
Canaan
and
people.
those children are
Proud.
proud.
This is gonna, no, I already had a very hard time the other day. I really feel for you. I'm sorry. It's not picking on you. This is gonna be a
That's
challenge.
okay, you can pick on me. It's all right.
Whatever.
Sometimes those organizations can be a good entree, like, would you want a presentation on this? Would you like to give us a presentation on what your group is doing, that kind of thing?
Oh,
That's
yes.
Peter.
Susan Brown, the
Peter.
4-H club is already looking at these sorts of things.
What else is there? All right.
Lots of opportunity to encourage the young folks, that's for sure. Let's see. Oh, I just wanted to make one comment on, I'm not sure if Craig is going to be here tonight or not, but I had asked him about the preparing a budget last meeting, because we're going to need to present it to the budget committee soon. And he figured out how much he spent last year, which is approximately $900, and we have there was 1,000 budgeted for it. So the other day, I was actually talking with Jim Taylor too, and the budget goes to him under his budget to present. So he agreed it would be a good idea to stick with the same budget, to ask for 1,000.
Sounds good to me.
Shirley,
But there, pardon me,
Ed Rippey,
um,
do you know if Craig was able to do the work on Suki Marsh Trail? I guess that's what he was gonna report on.
yes, he sent, I thought he was going to be here, but he did send me a report, and I'm not sure if he's completed there, but he told there were 4 steps that they were going to take, and I believe they finished the 3rd one. I can look it up in the,
The third one, I think the third one would be that second bridge.
yes,
That was full of moss and very slippery and
Yes.
dangerous.
I believe that has been completed,
I
but
I
I
would
don't.
have, I would have helped him, but I had a lot of company because we were having a big celebration in our house.
Well, I'm sure he's glad to have you whenever you're available.
Yeah.
So
Billy,
the
did you get any replies from the folks, the names that I handed you from the Shaker meeting, remember?
No, I didn't. You
Okay,
mean when we had the, at the,
the whole home days, right.
yeah,
There were a couple names that said they would be interested in working on,
yes.
okay,
Oh, I'm not sure. We'd have to ask with Craig, because I passed that on.
okay, so.
Yeah,
He could.
I'm not sure, because I
Okay.
passed that on to him.
The names,
But
okay,
I also put something on the listserv.
okay, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, that was a good question. Wasn't sure what you meaning at first. Okay, and now it's, if anyone has a public, something they want to comment on is publicly.
I would like to. And I'm Ed Rippey, and I am gonna take off my Conservation Commission hat to do this, okay? So I'm speaking as a member of the public. And, the reason I'm doing that is because I have had lengthy conversations with Shirley and with Ed Morris, Kate, and even Dan Reagan about concerns that I have as an individual with what I'm calling the choices you make document that was circulated in the past, back in April. I understand that because it's a personal report, we cannot discuss this at a Conservation Commission meeting as members of the group. But with freedom of speech, I'm allowed to do this, and
You have 3 minutes.
okay, all right, so, anyway, the reason I'm so intent on talking about this is the report made it look like Crystal Lake is polluted. And there were, I counted at least 9 inaccurate comments in that report. And I can't just let that go. As a property owner on Crystal Lake, I am insulted and hurt that somebody would put out a report that was not substantiated correctly and is damaging to the image of not only the lake, but the town, and circulated it all over the place. So in my discussions with everybody, 2 people had suggestions from me. Dan suggested that I speak directly with the author. So I tried to do that. I sent an email, tried to set up a meeting. And first he said, yes, I will do that. And then Dan recommended I bring another person with me to that meeting. And I said, okay, so I told the author that I would like to meet at such and such a time. Can you make it? And he got back to me and he said, you know, I want a forum. I want to have a whole bunch of people there to discuss this. And I explained to him in my next email that that was not the issue here. The issue was there's some problems with the report, and I would like to go over them with him to possibly revise the report so it is more correct. And he got back to me and said, just send me some questions. So I sent him questions. He answered with answers. Answered 1 out of 10 of my questions. And the other 9 really didn't help too much. So I then responded and told him that as a property owner and as a member of the Clean Group, I am suggesting that he might want to consider either revising his report or stopping to circulate it. And by the way, copies that have been distributed in Hanover, Canaan, Lebanon, and Enfield might want to be taken back. And he then got back to me and said, what do you think? He said, hell no. You know, it's my right to do whatever I want.
30 seconds.
Okay, all right, so that happened. The other thing is Ed Morris suggested that if you think the data is bad, you need to disprove it. So the Clean Group did that. The Clean Group had 2 times when we went out and sampled water, lake water, in 13 different locations and submitted and worked with Endyne Labs, a reputable lab in town, to process the work. What we tested for was E. coli, which is what is recommended you test for if you're going to be testing lake water for fecal matter.
Sorry.
They came back, just 2 more minutes, please. They came back proving that the lake is clean, which is pretty much what Glenn's been saying for the last 20 years. But anyway, so those results came back. Ed was happy with those results and pleased. We've since then done another set of tests after a rainstorm to see if there's anything coming from some of these locations.
We need to. you need
Okay.
to wrap it up.
All right, okay, and then, so anyway,
This,
we've done that. I also have permission to pass around this report, which I have entitled lessons learned from the choices you make report. There were some good things. It's a good thing that they did that report for a couple of reasons, and then there were some miscalculations. I'm doing this in the spirit of transparency because I spoke, I interacted directly with this author. And we also did the testing.
You need to-
No,
You have
we're
to,
done.
thank you.
We're done.
You have to, Ed knows this,
Mhm.
that this is not in the purview of, that should come to the Conservation Commission or an issue that the Conservation Commission would address. So this is for information, this is for, it's.
I'm gonna slide them over here.
And it cannot be verified whether there are two different
It's seven here.
Yeah, there's one.
water testing places. It can't be verified which one is right and which one isn't.
Mhm.
But- And it isn't up to the Conservation Commission to even hear this sort of thing.
I have a
Now-
question that doesn't have to do with what he said at all.
Mm.
I'm sitting here wondering, how do we know? And how does the new secretary get the recording? And how do we know that everything's getting recorded so that, because she's not here?
Okay, so that's Susan Brown. I'm Kate Plumley Stewart. The answer is, we don't know. We're relying on this to accurately record. I can see the recording is started and it said it up, actually, it still says it up there. So see where it says recording and transcription?
Yeah,
So far, my experience has been when I have started it for Whitney, when she's, been out in the past, that it has gone through, it saves into the cloud. And the town provides access. And so that's kind of my very high level. That's also why we have to be super careful about saying her name, because she has to learn all of the people in town and she's not gonna know our voices. So, yeah, they said they were gonna use some AI to do minutes. I have mixed feelings.
So she won't see the visuals, she'll only hear our voice.
But it is, there's always a transcript, right, in modern things that you can get. So I'm sure some combination, but it's just very important that we take turns like we've been doing tonight and
thank you, because
Yeah.
I'm concerned because that chair is empty.
Yeah.
right, no, it's I'm using my laptop and I'm gonna cast some stuff that normally Whitney would have cast for us, but everybody is gonna have to chip in apparently and get trained because I'm not gonna be the only one who runs this. So that, and if we don't feel comfortable with it, I am more than happy to take that concern to the select board, and I've already said that to Ed. Because we have money in our budget, so.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ed Rippey. So do we have somebody as the secretary that's a name of somebody or?
Is online somewhere.
Well, there was a person that came to the select board. I do not know if they are using the same person. I did not get a flow down of information, and the answer I got today did not tell me a name or organization. It just said that it would be done. Did you get
I only heard that that the person is not from the area. And that we will never see the person, but they'll do the minutes from the recording.
Oh, Susan Brown, I spoke to Rob about it, and they have hired this person, and she does minutes for 40 different commissions and committees and select boards and things from her home. She's a professional
Yeah.
minute taker.
And I don't know if that's who's assigned us or not. That's why I gave you a very high. I think
Okay.
probably the town owes us a slightly better explanation than we got. And I have expressed that.
Okay, speaking of minutes, let's get back on track. Okay, and also in the beginning, I mentioned Ed was hoping that one person would volunteer just to record when the meeting started, 7, who was here, who wasn't. If there are any motions, Jean, are you volunteering?
Yes,
Right.
I'm taking some just hand notes. So
Yes.
hopefully that
don't need
I'll
to
just
have any-
capture.
Yeah,
Pardon
just
me?
capture if
We
we
capture
do
the highlights.
something you make, have a motion on, just capture that.
And I'm
you
Kate
know,
Conley Stewart, just send it to Rob.
Right, and
Jean
briefly,
Balkowski.
we
Hinshaw,
don't
yes.
capture things that don't pertain to conservation.
Jay Wellens, we could take turns doing that, you know, over the course of weeks, you know, everyone take a
Right.
shot at it, because that's like what we used to do. We used to
Hopefully by
take
next.
minutes, 'cause we didn't always have, before Whitney, we didn't always have someone, so
You had Alice,
often,
Yeah.
yeah.
quite a while.
And I
Yeah.
should say, I didn't say when I said my name that I'm the chair. She should know that.
Oh, yeah.
Should.
Okay, but anyway, that's
Yeah.
all.
I
That's
guess,
good. I hope that by next month, there's something in place that it's a little more, but who knows, it's hard to find people.
yeah, we kind of
Very
fell
hard.
into this sideways when we
Yeah.
found out late last night that we did not know.
Yeah.
It's also incredibly hard to replace Whitney. She
Oh
was
my God.
wonderful. She was,
Whitney,
Ed Ripper speaking. She was
Whitney
wonderful.
is outstanding.
Yeah.
Okay, so, did everyone get a chance to look at the minutes?
Yes,
Do I hear a motion to put them on the table?
I'll make a, go ahead, Susan.
Susan Brown, so moved.
Jay Wellens, second.
Okay, anyone have any additions or corrections?
I do.
You do.
Susan Brown. Line 66, they put two E's on Mr. Rippey's name.
Always tempting.
Line 109, it says the Suki Marsh Trail requires multiple updates. I think you need to take out the has. Yeah, and on line 193, recognizes they adopted a policy not to convert any class. I think that C needs to be a V
Yeah.
to be class 6.
Oh, yes, that's what I was looking for. I couldn't
And
find it.
then
Yes, it does.
so on lines 253 and 254, minutes should be plural. Thanks to Ms. Banker for her work as minutes secretary, and to thank Ms. Banker for her great minutes work, I think.
Mhm.
And that's all I have.
Now, Jean, I know that you had some. I'm trying to think, do you want to say those now or? How could I?
Yeah, you have to do it and incorporate them.
Okay,
Okay, Jean Balkowski Hinshaw. Okay, I have them up here. I did send them to Rob when they were distributed. Line 249, that the word, or excuse me, 250, the word apply should be review. And these are about the comments that I was making about guiding principles and things like that. And then strike the for review that follows in the same line. And then in, I think that's all I need to say. There were a few other things to tighten up, but that's it.
anyone else?
I have one, even though I wasn't at the meeting, I wanna say that under line 6, I'm up there as being at the meeting.
Oh, yes.
And I'm also excused.
Yes.
Thank you, I am excused because I did notify people, but I wasn't there, so you should cross my name off,
Right,
but I got
That's a
nothing
good
else
one.
to say.
you have one.
No, that's a good one.
Oh, yes,
Because he's excused on the line below, yeah.
yeah, I noticed those. I didn't make a note beside it, but,
Didn't even-
okay, anybody else have any corrections?
You have to do a roll call.
Yes. Okay, do a roll call, all in favor of the minutes, starting with Jean.
Jean Balkowski Hinshaw, aye.
Susan Brown as corrected.
Jay Wellens, aye.
Shirley Green, aye.
Peter Hurst, aye.
Ed Rippey, aye.
Kate Plumley Stewart, I'll abstain since I was not here. And you are okay
Oh.
to say yes. You are, it's perfectly legal. You are
Okay.
not incorrect.
Okay. Yeah, I should have, I thought.
It doesn't matter. It's kind of a personal preference.
Okay. But the next thing on the report is select board report.
Oh gosh, I'm not prepared. I've been flipping back and forth between other things. Hang on to your tail feathers. We spent a good amount of time talking about the Comcast agreement, which doesn't largely affect you guys. This is what happens when you have too many windows open. So the big thing coming out of the Comcast is we have a contract with Comcast. It is not a monopoly in Enfield, except for the fact that it is because no one else wants to do it, right? And offer cable services, but we do not give them a monopoly. So when we're signing, we're not saying no one else can come here. They just, by the nature of no one else being present, are. The big thing to know going into it is there was a 3-2 vote, which prevailed. And we will not be charging a Comcast surcharge. That money was getting split half to the TV station, which Long has not cast anything. They used to old school, like take a video of the meeting, put it on channel 8, for those of you who have cable, and you would see a little surcharge in the bottom. So that is not going to be happening anymore in all likelihood, unless it goes back on the table during the hearing. So the hearing is coming up at the next select board meeting. So and that other half of the money was going into the general fund. So that's one thing that's not gonna be happening anymore in all likelihood, so hang on. Sorry, guys. That's why I said I couldn't run more than one thing at once. I can barely run myself. Let me pull down. It's me. All right, well, that's gonna be your select board report because
Can I
I,
ask a question?
sure,
Um,
because I can't.
I heard that Benny reported on how the inspection.
Oh, yeah, see if I could remember what I did last or ate yesterday, I'd be in great shape. Yeah, so it really is. I'm trying to find, we switched to a new form of doing packets and it comes in. And instead of downloading it, you click on the links and I admit that I'm still learning. So, and they had to resend me it and it turned into. Vinny, so yes, so Vinny came and he talked to us once a year, so it's in New Hampshire during COVID, in their infinite wisdom, somehow the legislature appointed the select board, the Board of Health, if you did not already have a Board of Health, and you don't have to have any qualifications, you just get to be on it. I asked if I could opt out, and the answer was no. So, because I have no qualifications to be on the Board of Health. So each year we have to meet with our health officer, that's Vinny. And so Vinny did give us an update. He does have some things that have been reported to him. He does investigations, so he gave a kind of high level report on that. He also gave us a brief update on how the septic regulation was going. It sounds like he's gotten quite a few questions, spent a good amount of office time. I did ask him if it was related to the ordinance itself or the newness of the ordinance. It seemed like it was more to the newness, and most people have been pretty responsive. Some of the folks who called in, everybody within the 250-foot mark who has property got a notice. That doesn't mean you have a septic within, right? Because we don't know necessarily where everyone's is. So obviously there's that part of the process as well, and identifying, hey, like, that yes, their property goes down to the lake, but their home and their septic are very, very far away. So I think it sounded like a pretty good response overall. And they did talk a little bit about the folks who did the group kind of, I'm gonna call it the group buy of having a person in their company come all at once. And who have not gotten the reports yet. So I think anybody who's in that position where you have done the inspection and you don't have the report yet, if you're getting nervous, just get in touch with Vinny. This is not meant to be punitive. This is meant to work with people so that we can make sure we keep the lake safe, right? And all of our water bodies. So I think, does that help with
Yeah, that sounds
overall?
good.
He gave a more detailed report of kind of building projects and things like that, which I won't go into, but suffice to say, we have building additions.
When we get to our correspondence, I have something that relates to it, but no, I've seen a lot of positive things. The septic systems.
May also be a correspondence issue, but as long as we have a select board member with us, I'd like to ask this question. This,
Peter Hurst.
Peter Hurst,
I forget.
this week, and I presume we received from the state copies of plans for two proposed developments in town, which are under various stages of review, I understand.
Yeah, I think that's the same one Shirley's talking about, right?
Yeah, that's why I said this may be correspondence, but I wanted to put the question out there now. Whether you can answer it or have further discussion later, I don't know. So my question is, will the select board be asking us for something particular with respect to our review of these plans? And if so, what further information will we be receiving on them?
We already actually had our input. So we were one of the first when they were before the zoning board. And, we will follow. I have that in my notes to let, you know, and it was in the letter that, Rob sent.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a site visit, because I wanna follow along through the planning process too, and it's good for all of us to, as many, you know, can, to follow along through the, because we may have, you know, something else may come up that we'd like to make a recommendation on. But it's just good to know what's,
If that's my question, is anything up now or are we just
they just
sort of
started with
keeping
the
up with it in case something else does come
Right.
up?
We're just started with the planning board last week. And on, September 24th, there's gonna be an actual site visit, or if anyone can go to, on the Laramie property. And then there'll be discussion, a meeting afterwards, and discussions about it at 6:30. And then on the second one, which is on Bob Road, that's gonna come, the hearing is coming before the, planning board on September 10th, 6:30, next week. And that one, they didn't have to go before the zoning board because there were no waivers or anything they had to apply for. Is that correct, Kate?
Yeah, so I'm Kate Plumley Stewart. I think it's, the process really doesn't include the select board overall. I think that's something that's
Yeah.
really important to know. Even though we represent you guys, most of development and planning processes that surround developments and housing go through planning board and zoning board. The only time select board really would get involved is if there was some kind of operations issue where, because we oversee the town manager as a team and they direct operations. So if there was an operations issue within our team where something either wasn't working or we needed to add extra capacity somewhere, right? Those kind of items get addressed to the select board. But other than that, not much comes to us. That doesn't mean we don't all pay attention. So I'd really encourage everybody to pay attention to planning board. Most of these, they knew they needed some variances. They were proactive. They worked with Rob. So they went to zoning board, they went through the variance process, and that's when we got our input. And it was pretty substantial, including some site visits.
Yeah, the Conservation Commission, we did a site visit. This was before you were on the committee.
Okay, all right.
Which was, very educational for us. And, so the planning board said, this is gonna be a long process. There's a lot getting through the planning board, so. I listened to it, last week in the first meeting with the planning board. And I think you'll find a long, interesting process. Be good for us.
Okay, I won't take any more time of this select board section here,
Yeah,
but I still have a couple of questions that may come up during the
Yeah.
correspondence discussion later.
that's great.
I can just tell you now that I finally got my agenda up. We did decide to sell a fire tanker, so you're going to eventually see our older fire tanker leaving town. It's being sold to a community down south who has people who are knowledgeable about how to drive a manual transmission who need it, and it's very difficult to sell up here. So that's major move that we made. And there will be a planning committee for America's 250th celebration. And the question was, do we need another committee? And both Old Home Days and Heritage were interested. And instead of making another committee, we charged the two committees to work together so that we don't have to create another committee that needs minutes and kind of arduous work where people can just do the work and keep at it. So that was the majority of the meeting.
And there's gonna be a meeting Monday,
Yes,
September
it is.
8th. It is gonna form the Heritage and Old Home Days, and anyone else who's interested in being a part of it, to meet on Monday at 4 o'clock at the town office.
And the select board will be meeting at 5:45 in our new space. So I would like to invite you all to come to Whitney Hall. The actual body of the meeting will start around 6, but at 5:45, we're going to call to order, and then we're going to try out the new technology, which we are not all familiar with. So it'll be our first time in front of, looking at the screen. Make sure you speak into the microphone
Is it-
instead of pre-trained.
Anyone else been in to see it? You're gonna.
It's a beautiful
Yeah.
space if you'd like to join us.
Oh, it's an awesome room.
Susan Brown, it has some problems. I was up there talking to, who I was talking to was explaining to me why. And one of the things was that the desk's in a long line and it doesn't curve, so people can't see each other.
I think
Well-
some of it is going to be a learning curve. So this is a room that is made for meetings and hearings. So that is why it is long. We can curve it and turn it. They're mobile desks. So the issue isn't that we can't see each other. We couldn't see each other when we were online other than a little picture. It is that people need to learn to do something very important, which we are going to have to do with an online minute taker, which is to wait your turn and to speak into the microphone. Those are
Yeah.
going to be the two big things. The other piece is instead of having a screen here, the folks at the front desk have a screen directly in front of them. So, and then there's a projection behind. So I think there's just some mechanics of people learning and getting comfortable. And also it's a little more rigid in terms of process, right? A lot of meetings sit around a table and people are very comfortable because that's what they grew up with, sitting in this form.
More formal.
Right, it's very formal. I'm used to a very formal setting, so I'm like, let's go. Not everybody's gonna feel that way, so it's gonna just take some adjustment. That's why we're starting at 5:45. And I hope folks will join us, and the agenda is up online if you are interested.
Oh, yes. Am I on the agenda? I haven't been on there yet for our.
Well,
what we want.
I said it's online, but I just went to click on it there and
I may be,
Them to you.
but if it's a busy agenda, Ed said I might be put off to the next meeting too. So anyways, that's for information too about meeting with the select board about it.
I will pull the agenda right now. I'm getting used to where it comes from because I look up Elisa and it's not under that. It comes from some widget in the sky. It is Comcast. The Eagle Scout project is on there. So are you gonna come for that?
It's on our agenda tonight too. Yeah, I'm gonna be there. Anyway.
And conservation is on here further down. So yes,
Yep.
yes, you are.
Okay,
You were on twice.
so thank you, Kate.
Oh, and I'm sorry, the thing I missed is the 79E, which was the barn proposal. It came back from Heritage. It didn't have the data we asked for to substantiate whether or not financially, like how much it would cost potentially. And so the board didn't really feel comfortable taking it to town meeting without financials. So right now it's just a thing. I'm sorry, it wasn't 79E, it was 79D. D.
79.
D like dog, right? I think that's.
Okay. Well, we're talking about our youth. The next thing on our agenda is quite exciting. I got a letter, as did the select board, and it's from an Eagle Scout who has a proposal, Eagle Scout project proposal that he'd like to, and this takes place on land in an area that we oversee, so it comes to the Conservation Commission. It wouldn't necessarily, not all Eagle Scout depending on what that project is, wouldn't come to the Conservation Commission. But this one affects us. So that's why he says, "Good evening, all." I'll read his letter to you. "This is Jacob Reno, a Life Scout from Troop 44, Mascoma, that is reaching out to you about my Eagle Scout project proposal. My Eagle Scout project will consist of me helping in guiding my fellow," and Kate is putting on what he'd like to do too online, "helping and guiding my fellow scouts to build 6 wooden benches to be placed alongside the Bicknell Brook on the Claude Trail in Enfield. I attached a couple of pictures to show what these benches look like. These benches will be facing the brook, so when hikers sit down, they can enjoy the scenery. I think these benches are needed due to the fact that some people need breaks while walking in the woods. Additionally, I cannot make the next Conservation Commission meeting on September 4th due to an away soccer game. Hopefully, my proposal can be discussed in front of the board, even when I'm not there to attend. Thank you." And once again, thank you for your time and consideration. And is it Joel King, who was, I guess he must be one of the scout leaders?
Scott, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
he also wrote to me recently and said that, I guess it was after I replied to this letter, because he said that he's hoping that he'll be able to have these in place before snow falls.
One.
So I wrote back to him and told him I was putting it on the agenda tonight. Sorry, couldn't be with us. And if we did have any questions, we may ask him to come in to talk with us. But what do you think?
And can you see it well enough?
Yeah.
Especially Jean, because
Yeah.
no, you can see it, great. I tried to make it bigger, but I know how small it can end up when it's inside teens.
How big is it? Do you know?
It is approximately one child size, large
It
child.
shows him, to give you a size.
Looks like at least 2 people.
Yeah.
Yeah. a
Medium
two-people
size.
one.
Yes.
And he plans to
What
do
do we know about materials?
6 of them. Now, that's a good question. He did.
Susan Brown, you said that was my question. You said 6 of them?
Mhm.
Unless somebody really I'm closing out of this because I can open, maybe.
Question, Jay Wellens, is he looking for funding or not?
No, didn't
And it's
mention.
a no-brainer. I think it's great.
Yeah.
What's the saying no to?
I was,
Materials.
Yeah, I just, you said,
Yeah.
there's no charge. They're doing it. They're providing material.
No, I'm talking about the nature.
Providing
of
their
the
environmentally friendly.
Are we talking about,
Yeah.
pressure treated lumber and
I don't know.
what kind of finish?
I would assume that he knows that, but I can certainly write and find that out.
I'm looking to see if there's more to. Unfortunately, they wrote to my personal, my company email first, and then I had to pull everything over, so it's a little bit.
Yeah,
Susan Brown,
yes.
we built the trails at the Bedell Bridge in honor of our father. And the Honor Society at Woodsville High School does maintenance along the trail and has put in benches. I think this is a really good idea.
Mhm.
I do too.
Yes.
I do too. And in fact, I think it will be an opportunity for him to think about that and learn that conservation commissions are concerned with the physical, chemical
Yeah.
nature.
So,
And maybe even he might even have something to say about the origin of the design. I mean, there's a long history of
mhm.
trail and recreational design too, that could be a constructive conversation.
Susan Brown, I think it's a great design, and I hope I can get a copy of one of those pictures to send to the Honor Society for the next bunch of benches up at Bedell.
I can forward
Exactly.
them to.
I just need one.
I didn't forward them ahead of time because we have to resist,
Mhm.
conversations about these things.
We can send it to Rob to send around.
Yeah.
We'll take care of it.
Nope.
Um,
So,
can I just add from Ed, Morris, So I'm Kate Plumley Stewart. Ed had just said, so normally, like you said, it goes to the select board, but it makes sense because it's in a conservation area
Mhm.
for the Conservation Commission to discuss it. He said something for us to consider, not the scout, not to put extra work on the scout, but it's just in terms of long-term maintenance. So, the question about PT, not PT, and obviously the way they make PT has also changed over the years and what they use. So,
Exactly.
yeah, I think there's a lot around that. But I think the scout probably we could just ask them, to use an environmentally sustainable material. But we should think about it, because eventually at some point, when they inevitably break down after whatever number of years, as a commission, do we feel like a future commission might want to? So just to have in our head, did he say how many? Shirley?
Six.
Six, okay. I was like, feel like it, but I have so many emails on this topic.
Hmm.
I also have other emails for other scout projects, so I apologize, you guys. They do a great job. I think it's worthwhile.
Jean, Whitney always reminded me when you had your hand up. So
Oh my gosh,
let me-
sorry, Jean.
I'm just
Oh.
checking to see if you'd like to comment.
Oh, I think I put it up a long time ago,
I'm
but
sorry.
on something else, but I do have a comment. So Jean Belgrowski Hinshaw. I agree this is a wonderful project. I think that an Eagle Scout, is an advanced scout. And so it's right in line with becoming an Eagle Scout to research it a bit. We'll give him some input. I would suggest we give him this input of, we would like to make sure it's environmentally sustainable and that there are, materials that can handle the weather, handle maintenance, but not pollute the environment, not harm with chemicals. That's a wonderful assignment for an Eagle Scout. So I'm in favor of all those things. He should know that.
Kate Plumley, sir, this is on the select board agenda for the next meeting, which is Monday. And so if there was a way we could have a motion,
Yeah.
maybe to that effect, then I could convey that motion
Right.
forward so that when Shirley presents, we have it all tied in a bow, if that
I
makes sense to you.
That, the motion should be that we are very, they want to say very pleased and think it's a great idea, but I think we should include in it that on the condition that he does use environmentally safe materials.
Susan Brown, I think Jean stated it beautifully that
I
we
do
should
too.
put
You wanna
what
make
she
that the-
said into a motion, and that should be what the motion is. That was really good, Jean.
Thank
He
you.
is good. So do you want a second? What?
I would second what Jean said and let that become the motion, and, because it says it so well.
Yes.
Great.
Is, so we need to take a roll call vote to see if everyone is in favor. We'll start with Eugene.
Jean Belgrowski Hinshaw, aye.
Susan Brown, definitely.
Jay Walenside.
Shirley Green, I definitely too.
Peter Hurst, yes, and I.
Ed Rippey, absolutely approve of it. Wonderful idea.
Kate Plumley, Stewart, aye.
Pretty exciting, thanks. The scout leader did mention there are two other Eagle Scouts in town. They probably won't come to us because I don't think they're on our places that we oversee, but there are two other projects that are gonna be brought before the select board.
I can tell you one potential project is an access point to the rail trail potentially.
That's right.
So it is exciting and it is obviously, we have conservation interest in the
So
the
that will
rail trail
come to
takes you
us.
through quite a
Mhm.
few interesting conservation points.
That one will come to us too, maybe.
Because it's not on conservation property, I'm not sure that it will, but I certainly will let you know,
Yeah,
and point it out. It will go to the
I
select.
thought it might because of trails, but
It's not really our trail.
Oh,
That's because
well,
it's the
we're
northern rail
excited.
trail.
We're excited about it.
As an abutter to the rail trail, all of a sudden I'm interested.
Yeah, the access point that they're proposing, that was mentioned by the scouts was the Community Lutheran Church parking lot, but the town also owns a parking lot that's immediately to the right, so the furthest light pole where the giggly weeds are, that lot, little postage stamp lot belongs to the town. So the question is who and where, and Ed Morris is
And I
felt
think
that.
it's just something that's really long overdue. It will be very beneficial.
Sure, and so I think that you're looking at parties that all have interest in the access, so I don't think it's a problem. And I am having trouble recalling what the other one was.
Me too. I'd have to look up George.
It's in one of my many, many.
Sorry about that.
emails. Yeah,
I took a lot of notes, but didn't put that down. So I won't waste our time right now.
you're not wasting time.
I'll let
Oh,
you know
that's
next meeting.
You guys know what
So the next thing on our list is something that Rob passed on to me, an invitation to us. Find it here. Get these all in order. Here it is, yeah. It says, please see this email below from Steve Whitman of Resilience Planning and Design on behalf of the city of Lebanon. I'm forwarding this to you as they are looking for Conservation Commission members from Enfield to participate. And this is on September 11th, participate in a September 11th event. Can you find someone from CC to participate? It's, the city of Lebanon is hosting a series of focus groups discussions to better understand how housing issues affect the community. And we would value the perspective of Conservation Commission members from neighboring towns who may be having similar discussions. We are hoping, and he's got this in bold print, we're hoping you can help us get this invitation out to them and that representatives of your Conservation Commission may choose to attend. We have also invited representatives from regional conservation organizations as well. So that will be at the, let's see. The, and where it is, there's more to this. On September 11th, Area Conservation Commission members are invited to participate in a focus group discussion on the topic of housing and land conservation, which will be held in the City Council chamber in Lebanon City Hall. This focus group is being hosted by the Lebanon Conservation Commission and will be facilitated by our consultants, Steve Whitman and Zach Berlinski of Resilience Planning and Design. As you may know, Lebanon faces a housing shortage, limited housing choices, and a lack of affordable and workforce housing options. These issues are making it harder for many to find a home in our city. And I know someone who's coming to work at the library is having a very hard time too, to find a place. During this focus group, we are seeking honest, thoughtful input from people experienced in natural resource and conservation initiatives in Lebanon and the surrounding region. Your voice will help shape the city's new housing plan, a roadmap we are developing with support from a New Hampshire housing grant to identify strategies that respond to our community. And they want you to please RSVP at least 24 hours before the event using this link. So probably the best way, if you're going to do it, is for me to RSVP for us. What do you think?
Shirley?
Yes.
Susan Brown, what time? It says September 11th, but I haven't heard an hour.
That's a good question.
Hmm.
I'll find that information out. Oh, no, yeah, 5:30 PM. So if anyone's interested in what we need to let them know 24 hours in advance, or I can send you this link too. I know I'm gonna try to make it.
Question, Shirley?
Yes,
Peter Hurst, is it your sense that they're looking for something with the sort of imprimatur of the Conservation Commission, or just individuals who have this kind of experience?
It sounds like they're looking for people from area conservation
Not
commissions.
necessarily speaking for the Conservation Commission, but just with that as sort of
Right.
part of their background and experience. Okay, I see. And
I
you wanna
think we
do this
could-
on a-
we could learn.
Like just a volunteer
Yeah.
basis? for the-
Anyone who's available and would be
Okay.
interested in going, be great.
My suggestion would be that if you take 4, you have to post it, right? You need to
That's
post a
true.
meeting and do minutes.
So we would need to know,
It doesn't have to be exhaustive minutes. It can be like you convened at this time in this location, you did this. But if you have 3 people, then you aren't in that situation. But you shouldn't let that stop you from going. in.
no,
Okay, subject.
because it's very simple to post we have to do it with only 3 trustees. You have no idea.
You basically,
Often the library has to post a meeting.
yeah, and you say basically, right, attended this, gave individual input, no decisions were made, left at X time, Y time, right? Like, very simple.
But I think it's something that we could learn a lot from too, our town is facing the same thing.
Yeah.
And it'd be good to hear what other conservation commissions, what, their, advice or recommending. Because it is a delicate balance. So if anyone is interested in going, let me know. So, does anyone feel like they are right now?
Jay Williams, I'm out of town, so I'm
Oh,
going.
Yeah, I'm out of town too. My wife too.
and you weren't, you?
5:30 is gonna be hard for me to make. I may or may not be hiking the Greenway, for a couple of days in that period. But if I'm not, I may be able to make it, so I would put me down for definite maybe. But I'll let you know if-
Thursday.
It is a Thursday.
If it goes
Yeah.
somewhere.
I went, there was a regional one, not a resilience, gathering a couple months ago. That Rob hosted here, and I went to that one. And, and I'll let the other, two members, the alternate, let them know about it. So, now we're on, did you all have a chance to, Ed had given us the, role, the town is writing up the roles of each committee. And, we emailed you all the one for the Conservation Commission. And, we really hadn't had a chance to look at it the last meeting. So, does anyone need a copy?
Yes.
Think so.
If this was yours, Ed, you still have it, you sent it in, you weren't here last meeting, and you sent it,
What's that?
and Tom Plus brought it, to say you agreed
Oh,
with it.
oh, yeah, it's
Oh,
fun.
you have one.
I think it's a great.
Okay.
You can pass a couple.
I do have a,
You got 'em. I have a copy somewhere. I've read it once, but it was a while ago.
Oops.
Think I don't think I have seen it.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You have one either? I thought it was very, Shirley Green, I'll say my comments first out of, I did think that we should, it says add this from the Municipal Conservation Commission. I know Ed took all of this from things I sent him from the Municipal Conservation Commission. But, I do think there's two things here that should be in there. It's the commission is an advisory body, that it may offer advice on conservation matters to state and local agencies and boards, such as the Department of Environmental Services, Wetlands Bureau, the Town Planning Board, or Select Board. We're not a regulatory, but we offer advice and recommendations. So I think that should be in there because that isn't included, that you work with the other boards. And we are the only local board that's authorized to intervene or request more time to review applications submitted to the DES Wetlands Bureau. We're the only one that can do that. So I think that should be in our role.
To formally intervene in a permitting proceeding?
Pardon me.
Does intervene mean to formally
We
intervene?
can stop it until we've had a chance to, where, like I said, we're not regulatory.
Right.
We can stop them from, doing, proceeding with that permit to approve it or disapprove, to wait for our recommendation. Before they do that, to hold it. Wanted to.
And do we get notice of those proceedings? Is there?
Yep, those are the ones we get.
Those are the.
Yeah, the permit applications.
Okay, so every time,
Yeah.
we get, I'm sorry, Peter Hurst. Every time we get copied with one of those permit applications, it's essentially notice of an opportunity to intervene.
Right.
Right.
And if we need more time, we can ask for more time.
I understand. And those regularly come up on our agenda?
Mhm. That's our correspondence.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one other thing, I think we should still keep it in there, even though municipalities are creations of the state and may act only as authorized by state law. So even though we have a role of the town has a role of conservation commissions, we're still, even the town and us, we still have to follow state RSAs for conservation commissions. So I think those two things should be added in there.
Ed Rippey, I think the one about the wetland permit applications, you should probably just amend number 5 and add that to it.
Oh, say that such as, right? Like,
Yes. See,
Yeah.
see, it says review them and then make your statement, which kind of strengthens that.
Right. Being the one that we can intervene on.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think, it should be mentioned in here that we also, the planning board and the zoning board also welcomes us to advise. So, because there may be a conservation or a natural resource issue that they aren't aware of too, that we might want to recommend. Have them consider. Susan?
I think in the first paragraph, most of what you're wanting to add is nicely put. The commission shall act as an advisory and proactive body to support preservation, stewardship, and promotion of the town's open space, natural habitats, wetlands, and water resources for the benefit of present and future generations. That really covers it.
Well, it doesn't cover that, we also, we can offer advice to state and local agencies and boards, such as the Department of Environmental Services, town planning boards, or select board. That's a thing I think should be in there too.
I think, Shirley, that in something like this, you have to be careful not to be too detailed. Because if you're too detailed, you end up sometimes limiting what you can do by what you said. I think it needs to be open. So it can be open to interpretation and we can do what we want is, so I wouldn't be too specific. Because
Well, I think it's,
being too specific, somebody can come in and say, well, you can't do that because you're limited. We don't want to limit
I don't
ourselves.
think that's what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying it should be included that we work with the planning board and select board on natural resource. Any plan, if something, it's just like we're looking at the plans for Laramie Farm and this other development down on the Bog Road. It should be, not saying that we're not demanding that. We're saying that we work with the planning board and zoning board.
Well,
on-
I guess
on
I
those
just,
Type of things.
I'm allowed to
And it's
disagree
not,
with you.
yeah, you're not,
I
but
think
it's
you
not
have-
in here that we work with the planning
Oh,
board.
Venus,
and
okay.
select board. Jean?
I think it is important to add what you said about making recommendations to DES, because that's different than input, which is general. But a recommendation is specific and it doesn't say anything about what that needs to look like. But I fear if we don't have something like that in there, then people will progress without our input. And in
Right.
other conversations, we've had issues about we're advisory and, kind of finding our way into our role. And this is all good, I think, to be definitional about it. But I kind of like the specificity, with all due respect, Susan. And I do see what you're saying. I do. But
Yeah.
I think we need that as a group.
Maybe Susan Brown, maybe instead of provide input, you say make recommendations.
There you go.
I would like to see it, this is the way the state, this is our RSA from the state, the way they write it, and it just wasn't included, and I just like to see it included.
So Kate Plumley Stewart, I think, when we've talked about this at a high level about doing this for every committee, right? And so it happened to be, we started with conservation, not because it's easy, but you have to start somewhere, right? And so, because we had, as a group, struggled with like, what is our role? And, you get a giant book that's your conservation handout, you get the RSAs. Really, when I talked to Ed Morris, our town manager, about it and had my conversation just at a high level, it was about doing an overview so that we weren't restating things that we had documents for, and that it was more general. So if the law changed, or if you had another committee, like say we had an impact, I'm gonna pick the 250th celebration, right? That you wouldn't be not calling out someone. And so that was kind of why we were at high level. That was my interpretation of the theory. Now, we could dial down into the weeds, but then you're adding a layer of specificity to the document that already exists in the RSA and in our conservation. So I guess the question is the theory, do we want it to be specific? And then if it doesn't list something, then we run into the trouble where someone's like, well, that wasn't included, so that's not ours. Well, that's not true. So I think that's the danger, right? Like I just sat through an IEP meeting today where if you make it too specific, someone might be like, well, that doesn't include art class. So I think we have to think about the nature of how we want this to be a document that lives on past us and how people might use it.
I
Yes,
think these are all good points, and it is a fine line. I'm happy with using the word recommendations instead of input. And then, yes, there are things that are written that lay it out, and I think that
His
maybe
recommendation, yeah, it is recommended, yeah. Yes, Ed.
Figure out my point now. Essentially, if you use the words, for example, the zoning board and the planning board,
Yeah.
which
it
is
doesn't
sort of saying
include-
there could be others.
Right,
I like that one.
yeah. It doesn't have, it can just be an addition onto that sentence that includes that. Because,
Yeah.
we need people, the community needs to know that we can advise on
Yeah.
these things. And, so
So,
Peter, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I wonder if it would be inclusive enough without being restrictive if we simply incorporate by reference whatever the state criteria
That's what I just
are.
said.
No, without quoting it, simply
Yeah.
incorporate
yeah.
it by reference,
Uh,
such
Yeah.
as all other duties and permissions, whatever the term would be, as set forth in, and then reference whatever the state
well, I don't
document.
think that the community, as far as, I think we're always wanting to educate the community on what the Conservation Commission does, don't we? A natural, we protect, so I think that definitely it should be that we do, if it affects natural resources, we do make recommendations to the planning board or zoning.
Right,
board.
but I think incorporating by reference what the state says would solve the problem of being too restrictive. Because the state is, what the state says is the ultimate restriction, so.
Yes, but when this is published in your community, is the state gonna be, is our community members gonna be looking at the state?
No, but we can say whatever we want to, but then include the incorporation by reference to make it clear that the interpretation of what we have cited as examples is only limited by the state. Is it RSA? Is that the?
If you, it's Susan. What, what Ed said is if you said, review wetland permit applications and, for example, provide input and make recommendations, you've covered everything and you've left yourself room. Because you put in the, for example, that was a really good idea.
Mhm. But it should include planning board and zoning. And this,
You made
and
two,
I finished,
Sure, yeah,
yeah,
Ed Ripper, you made two proposals to add. One
yes,
has to do with the wetland permits, but, right?
right,
And that's
well, it's
when
just.
I said, for example, I meant your other one that you're talking about.
Mhm.
which is
The
more
other
general.
one, states that even though the towns may have a role of the Conservation Commission, that the New Hampshire revised statutes are the authority on the powers of conservation. And, that's important too, to recognize that the role of the conservation that the town may have that's, simplified in writing and in wording doesn't supersede the states.
Yeah.
You know?
Kate
What-
Conley Stewart. So I think one of the things we really need to think about is audience. So the target audience for this document, it might appear on your website, on your page, and I don't know if that was the intent of the town manager's office, but your main audience is going to be people who are looking to find out whether they want to join us, right? And so one of the things we've had over the years is what does the Conservation Commission do? And then I throw like, here's a bunch of links from the state, right? Which isn't super friendly. So it's a very high level overview. So somebody might be like, hey, this is something I would really be interested in doing. It might also be something if you ever put out a piece of literature asking people to join you and do trails and things like that, you might include it. So I think brevity is your friend because you already have all these other long documents. So if you took that and incorporated that first suggestion and then also did the for example with the specific examples, that would be a nice compromise between what Susan has presented and what Shirley's presented.
Well, what
I-
is maybe Shirley would write out what she wanted to say and present it and mail it to us, or no, mail it to Rob so it can be mailed to us. And then we could finish the discussion with more writing in front
Yeah,
of us.
so I don't think, the whole thing, when I read the whole thing, I just want basically those 2 points should be included. They don't have to be, it doesn't have to be, worded exactly, but they should be included.
So.
And
so
anyone who's gonna be on the,
Yeah.
for anyone who is going to join the Conservation Commission, I think would hopefully know the importance of us being an advisory when it affects a natural resource to planning.
So
Okay.
I move that Shirley write it out the way she thinks it ought to be and get it to us. And we can complete our discussion at our next meeting.
I think you can do that without a motion, I think if you agree, but also Jean.
Jean Belgrowski Hinshaw, I think that is a good suggestion, Susan. I agree with that. And I think the three things I've heard listening to this are adding the word, make recommendations in the right place or places, maybe in the first paragraph or down in the other. I do like the idea of referencing. I think, Peter, you were pushing that notion, the referencing the other state level documents, because that is all
Mhm.
defined, right?
Yeah.
And I thought that, for example, notion that Ed put forth is a very good way to not box us in, being too
Yes.
specific. I think those are the three things I heard in this. And so Shirley, if you can add those, I mean, I would suggest those seem like the things to add. And that will still be concise, to Kate's point.
Right. Oh, yeah, I think we don't want to add exactly what is in the municipal one, but I do think it's important to add those things briefly.
Mhm.
But- So,
So
No,
there
it's
there is
not
there is a mechanism whereby you can draft that and get it around to all of us
mhm,
for review.
Yeah.
Can I make a motion to that effect?
sure.
Okay, move then that the chair draft language essentially incorporating Jean's suggestion and circulate it among all of us for review and discussion at the next meeting.
Okay.
And I'll second that. Ed Rippey will second.
You know, Kate, didn't think we actually need a motion, but doesn't.
I think, and on things like this.
Well,
there's
there's some record of what I
But
understand.
in the minutes, it can say, by consensus, Shirley's going to bring it back to another meeting, like we don't.
Mm.
Unless it's a formal proceeding, you guys can save yourself a little bit.
Okay, I'm fine with it. Yeah, yeah, go ahead, Shirley. We don't need it.
You don't have enough work to do.
But I,
Yeah, go ahead.
Shirley, I'll send you the three things I said.
thank you. And we do need, where we had a motion, we do need to take a vote. We'll start with you, Jean.
Or we can withdraw the
Yeah, I thought
motion.
we agreed that we didn't need a motion.
Oh, okay,
Okay, well,
We
withdraw-
we're just
I'll
all,
withdraw my
Yeah.
second. No, you're right, no, you're right.
And I started.
I'll withdraw.
I agree
So
with
we all-
I'm sorry, okay, then I would.
we
I
agree
withdraw the motion.
that I'll send you a slightly changed draft.
For the minutes, the motions were withdrawn.
Okay, let's see. The next thing on our agenda is the Shaker Museum. And the first thing out is the Harvest Festival, which we were interested, we have a table there. And that's right, you weren't here. Peter and Jay have volunteered to be at the museum for the Harvest Festival.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we can get the tent is now here. Our actual tent. But, so
Yeah.
we'll leave it up to you to gather the tent and,
Yeah.
and I have lots of materials. Kate
Yeah.
has brought some seeds that we could have at the Harvest Festival, and
Sure.
she's hoping to
So
another
really short. So I brought you purple bee balm, red bee balm, which are native. And they're also great in rain gardens. I brought you Rudbeckia, which is great in rain gardens. It's a color mix. So there may be some that's non-native in that one. Purple bee balm and red bee balm are native to the Northeast. I brought you Shasta daisies, which Shasta daisies, it's a hybrid because to get them to be nice and big, but it is excellent for pollinators. I brought you bags. So it doesn't have to be part of the meeting, but if you wanted to take some home, this is an ideal time to scuff up the earth. So I thought as conservation members, I'd offer you some. And then you could tell me if you want it like packaged, if you want like a little bowl so people could make their own mix. you guys want to like do that and do envelopes, like, so that's more interactive, so the person would stay at your table instead of coming to take it. If they were like, oh, I'll take this one and this one and this one.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Okay, so I will pick you and get you whatever you want ready. I just wanted to, but also offer, and you don't have to take it. You can come up to my house and take some. But this is my pollinator contribution to you guys.
Thank you.
Great.
So if you like the bowl idea and who's running the table?
Yeah, Peter and I, so yeah.
Okay. I will get you kid container and some kind of, I don't know if we want to invest in some envelopes, maybe? What's the easiest?
I
Like,
can bring envelopes. I mean,
Okay.
I have envelopes. That's,
if I can find my small ones for seeds, but I was not successful tonight, and that's how I came to have sandwich bags.
That lunch break?
okay, so
Oh,
you're
yeah.
gonna bring seeds in J Wellens. You're gonna bring seeds in separate containers labeled, and then we'll just like put them in bowls.
Yeah.
And people can take what they want.
Yep, and if you would just, I'll just turn it on, wait a minute, so you
Yeah.
can see, I wrote a little description. If it's something you think you like, then I would make it like probably bigger and laminate it, so you have it, so people could read it.
Sure.
And then, it just makes it a little more of a display, but super low key and something instead of, I mean, I don't mind doing the scavenger hunt, but I think you've done that a couple times
Yeah,
as an option.
this would be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, the seeds are free, so yay free.
Cause we also will have trunk or treat coming up too.
Oh,
Yeah.
do you
So-
want
We can talk about that the next meeting,
that's
but
true.
we probably can use the same scavenger. Just
Yeah.
make more copies that you did last year for it.
And we could potentially put any remaining seeds into envelopes and hand those out too. Do you want a brief description of how to plant it? Like, not everybody has ever planted anything. Like,
That would
stuff up
be
the earth and throw it in and hope it
Yeah,
works
that'd be
out.
good.
That would be good.
Like a little
Sure.
tiny, okay. Not that you guys can't explain it, but,
It's nice to have it written.
Yeah.
or maybe, okay, I might do it as a label. Maybe I'll write to you about envelope coordination, because if I do it as a label, you could.
And,
Yeah.
and infographic.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Oh,
Half a
info, oh,
page, half a
man,
page.
now you're talking my language.
Shirley, what time?
It's 11 to 4.
11 to 4.
Yes,
What's the
that's when
date?
it's, so you wanna, you can.
27th
27th.
September, yeah.
And we had 800 paid people last year, and a lot didn't.
So much depends on the weather for a day like that.
Yeah.
We're getting doors, Shirley.
Pardon me?
We're getting doors on the Brethren's West shop, front and back, to keep out the pigeons.
Well, they don't keep them out at the Whitney Hall.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, dear.
We got
Okay,
out
and
in
then Kate
minutes.
and Maddie also gave me some dates that are available this fall if we want to use the museum for talks. And they are
Oh, okay.
October 17th, October 24th, and November 7th. And she's planning when we decide on a talk and what we're going to do at a certain, because there's lots of possibilities we've got. And she will be advertising it on the museum's Facebook and all of her social media through Forest. She takes care of it.
How many topics do we have?
Pardon me?
How many topics do we have?
Well, we talked about doing something with the Audubon,
Yeah.
New Hampshire Audubon,
Yeah.
and also with your
Biochar.
biochar. So we could possibly, because she'll give us dates that we can do throughout the different seasons too. We can do this on a regular basis.
Is there another specific topic yet?
We haven't decided on what we'll
Cause I
start with.
was down there today and I didn't
Oh, yeah.
get to meet Patty. That's away for a couple of days.
Yes, I was today too.
Oh, and she's in class somewhere on Monday,
Oh,
but I have a tentative.
so what should we start with? We've talked about doing something with a biochar, the Audubon, and we also, we're really doing an information and education thing at the Harvest Festival.
Well, what about
So that takes
fish
care.
and, the Fish and Game wildlife people. They aren't all officers. They have biologists and people like that.
Mhm.
That's a
for sure.
really,
Yeah.
yeah.
That would be great.
It
That'd be
touches the
good.
tracks that we have trails on and it goes onto their land.
Because also, Jay has suggested that we do a hike too
Yeah,
But we
she
thought
said
it was
that they were doing, already a hike
with Upper Valley Land Trust.
up there, land trust.
But the spring would be, she would.
Yeah, I would lead a hike.
Schedule for spring.
Yeah, so I'm waiting to hear from her on that.
So what should we do first? Biochar or is
I
it?
volunteer to be biochar in any of those states, it would be perfect.
Okay. And this will be an introduction and education.
It'll basically be the first page of the handout that
Yeah.
I circulate on Kate.
Because there were 6 different.
You
Did
know,
they, did Rob email it? No?
I don't know that. Oh, wait a minute.
Let's see.
This is what I tell you, I
got it
don't,
last
I don't
time.
accept
I
paper
did, I had-
submissions.
Yeah,
11
there are
copies of
copies
it
too.
last
If I have all here. Too many papers.
Paper submissions get recycled back to the earth.
I think it was emailed.
Cover sheet. I
But
don't
the,
have
it,
the-
but I
Did
honestly,
you think, Rob emailed it all? Probably, he did.
He did.
So we
I
could
got it-
redo
I got it
that.
Right here. I saved it as a
Oh,
file.
good.
okay, great. Yeah, I honestly can't remember which thing I've read because I get so much.
Yeah, here's mine.
Don't
I got
wanna-
that.
Yeah, and go to the next page. Yeah,
Section
exactly.
one.
So what I left,
Yes, I do have that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, here's the, I would put this one.
Just
in fact,
Well,
I'd be
you know.
happy to do
an
3 of
8,000 in the
the
hole.
4 presentations there, although I want to use the Whitney Hall
Yeah,
as well.
yes. Well, we could, you could
Sure.
switch back and forth.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll start with the one, your introduction, overview.
I also met Jennifer French,
Oh, yes.
who was sort
Who's
of,
our events coordinator.
yeah.
Oh, from the
She-
museum?
From the museum, her title is hospitality coordinator. And she's only been there less than a year, but apparently she runs a flower shop in Canaan
Mhm.
and is in touch with, flowers from all over the world, but also a lot of local growers.
Yes, that's a good
So-
connection too.
Exactly, but
Yeah.
I have yet to meet the garden coordinator there, who I think would also. be
She's
a
had,
good-
this summer, she hasn't been as available as actually because she's had some illness and
Has she? Is there someone who's stepping in for her?
well, she's still been very, she's
Yeah, but
certainly
it's-
been doing
yeah.
it, but, that's probably why she didn't happen to be there today too.
No, it was Maddie who was not there. I didn't
Oh.
even ask for Susan today. I
Oh,
thought that-
okay.
that
So
could be a good
Susan would have
second
been
step.
And Susan isn't there every day.
Well, and she has a family emergency,
I know.
and I think she's gone to deal with that for a while. And I hope it doesn't take forever for her, because it's very difficult, it will be very difficult.
Yeah. Sure would. She's done a wonderful job as a garden coordinator. It would be a very difficult person to lose. Yep. Okay, so, is there a date here that you think would be better than another to do this?
That's it. For mine, since it is the beginning of a series, the sooner the better from my perspective, but
Mhm. We want to have time to publicize it well though, too. Let's see, October 17th.
yeah,
That'd be
October
6
7th,
weeks,
if October 17th
weeks
is
away.
the first date, that's pretty much perfect time.
maybe 6 weeks away,
Yeah.
Does that work for everybody else?
Sure.
Okay.
I have
And if
other
you-
obligations.
Just
to
ask
meet.
her.
And if
Say the
you,
date one more time, wait.
Just do a little,
October 17th.
whatever, so she
Yeah.
can
I thought my hearing was bad, okay.
send that to me, it'd be great.
I left her a very general
Yeah,
Oh,
it's-
one sheet on what biochar is and what it does.
Mhm.
So now I can follow up with.
Yep,
A Wednesday, right?
and if you wanted to get it as soon as possible so that,
Mm.
so that she can publicize it for us.
Okay.
Is that a Wednesday? Am I correct? When I looked,
The 17th?
yeah, a Wednesday. If it's in the evening, I won't be there, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it.
I don't know if I will either. I don't know what will be coming because a big milestone birthday for my husband.
Oh,
I will be at
So I
soccer.
probably shouldn't.
Soccer.
I probably won't be there.
But I will cheer from you from the nearby fields.
Well, I'm sure there will be.
Maybe I could put up a sign at soccer and send the parents.
Oh, you're gonna be there?
I'm literally gonna be on the next field over.
Ah. Yes, now, and also, do we wanna have it in the performance center? Or at the Great Stone Dwelling?
Well,
That's a
if you
great
have
start.
it at the performance center, you can go out in the field. You got a big parking lot and you got a big field next to it.
We
But
have new
actually-
bathrooms.
And you
They-
have
but we're not
bathrooms.
hooked up yet. We can't use the bathrooms yet.
Oh, the bathroom, no, because they have to dig in, they have to connect it
They-
to the
right.
sewer.
And I don't know if they'll be
Oh.
usable by that time or
Well,
not.
there are bathrooms in the Wood Building
Mhm.
that
But
get used.
they don't, I was at a meeting today and they probably will not have events there until we can get those bathrooms hooked up.
Do they, the other thing to think about is you're gonna project, right? I'm sorry, Kate Plumley Stewart. Are you gonna project some slides? I'm
Yes.
assuming. So wherever you can easily project.
Yeah,
slides.
the performance center is really great for that. It has a beautiful stage and the projectile screen. It's kind of like, the screen is big like the one in Whitney Hall.
Oh, well then.
But
And a
you've
stage.
got to get the curtains back because it's so echoey. You can't hear in the back of the room since they took the curtains down.
At the performance center,
Yeah,
I've heard it isn't, the acoustics aren't good at Whitney Hall at this time too.
Mm,
The
but
curtains
if
make
they,
a huge
if you
difference.
put the curtains back, that will help.
I
I'm wondering-
believe those curtains went to the forever dumpster.
I'm wondering, the ones we have in the library, Kate says they really control the sound from outside.
I think it's a conversation that certainly has been had off and on, with different.
About when the
select
room
members.
is
Yeah.
populated, if not full. Is
I
it-
haven't had any problem with it, but Susan says she has.
The wonderful thing about people waiting their turn is you can hear them and
Yeah.
it doesn't echo. So some of it is going to be learning to be
Learning
a
curve.
civil participant,
Mhm.
which is not always a strong point around here.
So no chance your turn is changed to the 24th.
The 24th?
Yeah.
So that's only another week. That'd be fine with me.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
I'd hate to miss it.
Well, I won't be there 17th either.
You will, oh,
No, I'll be
Yeah.
out of town.
will you be back the 24th?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have your conservation commission there.
Kate, what exactly are you doing on the 24th?
I am
of
also going to
October?
soccer. Come on now.
oh, man.
That
I
goes late. isn't it?
I am a soccer mom until further notice.
Yeah.
I
Ours
miss
is a
very
day.
few. Yeah.
Well, then the 17th or the 24th.
I have not done a fantastic job.
How about you,
over the
Ed?
years because of my
Yeah.
community involvement.
I have other
I
obligations
think
at the museum. Because of the weather and the pigeons, we are quite behind in productions.
But you think you'll be able to come to an evening presentation?
Pigeon, pigeon.
Exhaustion will set in. We've got,
If you do it.
now that they've torn the broom
How
shop.
about you, Ed?
Well, I'm
24th is
trying to look on the
Thank you.
calendar here.
Don't want to miss-
Oh,
And I'm
thank
afraid,
you.
The end of October is not good for me because I'm gonna be going out to Chicago. Um. But the 24th might be before.
Hey.
And I wanna be there.
yeah.
Okay.
Kate Plumley Stewart, I will volunteer, Peter, if you need any, I know you have graphics, but if you need anything else made
Oh,
or like logoed or whatever, like
Kate's
dropped into Canva. So if you have something you want done, just send it to me.
I need
and tell me
about a
what you want.
quarter of an acre to move my operation to.
How do you feel about dogs? No, but for your presentation, if you need
Yeah.
anything, like in terms of
Awesome.
graphics, then yeah.
Cause this one will let them know what's to come too.
That's true. If you want like a handout of a series or something like that, I can make it.
the performance center, sometimes it's dark, the lighting is dark, and the slides are small print, it's hard to read them.
I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, so I think,
Like the projectors, if the projector's good, dark is okay.
yeah,
It will be dark in October.
yeah,
It,
yeah.
as far as if we turn the lights on.
Yeah.
Well, it is indoors, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
It's not Tanglewood.
Mm. Mm. Do you want to put, Jean report on anything so far on your, or your plans on the garden collaboration? Jean has taken the lead on the garden collaboration. And I know quickly that Susan Quinlan, when she can, will be very involved with you too, from the museum.
Sure, just a, brief update. I just got started on this and Shirley was kind enough to send several contacts from several neighboring towns. And so I've got my email started out to those folks and I'll be setting up conversations with them to, chat about things that they're doing relating to kind of the realm of garden, whether it's a garden club activity specifically or what the Conservation Commission might be doing with garden related activities in their town, and just learn, and then I'll just summarize what I learned from people and bring that back to the group, and then we can figure out, is there something specific and actionable that we think might be good for Enfield. So hopefully I'll be ready to do that at our next meeting.
Great. And I saw one of the letters that she's prepared and written, and it's excellent. And you also mentioned that you have the guiding graph
Oh, okay,
Uh,
yes. Yeah, so what I
ready.
did, oh,
next
sorry,
meeting.
excuse
Go
me.
ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Last meeting, we talked about making the guiding principles more generalized to move it away from specific about class 6 roads and all of that. So I've got a solid draft of that. I guess at this point, I'll send it to Rob and Shirley, and then you can decide if it's ready enough to put on the agenda, and then we can discuss it and look at it together. I think that's how it works, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Sure.
Let's see, why don't we do correspondence, or is there anyone that has any other business you'd like to bring up first?
Can I, 1 minute? Susan Brown, I hope at some point we will talk about the island in the middle of the Mascoma River where it used to be the, for the mills, it used to be the water for the mills, and there were dams there, and now it's an island. And right now, it's totally dry. You can walk across the Mascoma on rocks and keep your feet dry. And the creek that was on the other side of the mill pond, it's Mill Pond, on the other side of the mill pond behind Angus's house is dry. So I think that I look at that and I look at the people going out there on the ice and think we've got to do something about that. That's all I have to say, that I hope at some point we will talk about it.
And what is it you're thinking?
It's an island that I think that we ought to take it and put it in conservation so the town has something to say about what goes on there.
Because it's not owned by the town?
It belongs to the last descendant of the Shakers, as best we know, from the survey and, research that was done by a local surveyor. And so when something like that happens, it usually falls to New Hampshire Charitable Trusts. So it's not a very simple, this is something that's been addressed to the select board, and would be a select board level item if they chose. It takes lawyering and time. It's not high on the priority list of spending money, but it certainly is something that's known and is on the long rolling list of to-dos.
Good, I'm glad to know that.
Yeah,
Thank
it's, I've got it in my head, that it's sitting there, but it's because it was underwater, right? before. It's, and because the Shakers have no descendants, womp womp.
I was gonna ask.
So, right, that is kind of one of those,
So there's still a living one that,
And there are Shakers at Sabbath Day Lake, but
I
they
know.
are
that's
related.
why I was wondering.
so I think it's a complicated question. And it's certainly one we've talked about before. I think for conservation though purposes, one of the things you should know is one of the highest quality conservation areas in Enfield in terms of flora and fauna. And
Mm.
if you've never had a chance to peek out at it, I would suggest not going onto it because if you tread on it, obviously, especially during a drought, it will
Yeah.
damage it. It's a pretty neat spot.
Where is it exactly?
Behind
So
the
I'll know not
house.
to go there.
It is, if you were like, okay, actually, wait, we have a map right there. So if you were to look like behind like the Mascoma Bank lot where the Mascoma River kind of zigs and zags around, it goes by Hughes Park, right? Goes past Mascoma Bank,
Yeah.
behind the phone company building and behind the town offices. And then Susan's on the other side of the river. So this is gonna,
Gotta get.
and there's this little
Need a-
island.
Need a
It's-
pointer.
Oh, you know what would probably be more helpful?
Bridge, if you go across the Patton Bridge,
Yeah, I know.
that's it. See where Depot Street is?
So you feel there are things that are going on there that shouldn't be?
There are people going out there that are gonna get killed.
Right, I mean, that's outside our purview, like
Yes,
recommendations
As
on
long as-
conservation.
as long as it's not just sitting there for somebody to come and do something terrible to it.
Well, that's,
That's
as
fine.
Kate said though, that's.
Yeah, I didn't know anything that she said, so
Yeah.
thank you, Kate.
Yeah,
We're
and
not
the
regulatory.
surveyor is
You did
a
good.
well-known local surveyor. I'm not saying that doesn't set it in stone, right? But when you ask a surveyor to do deed research for you, they give you their best opinion on what it is. So it certainly is a complicated piece of real estate.
Yeah, we talked about that when Ellen was the chair. I mean, there's some beautiful silver maples out there.
Mhm.
Yeah,
There might be some ramps out there.
yeah.
There's
Trees
a
are beautiful.
deer, and I think she's got a baby out there.
Did anyone else have anything you'd like to bring up?
No,
Under old business, I'm sorry, I missed the last meeting.
Yeah.
I know that the class 6 signage is out of our hands now,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
We got nothing to do with it, but I,
well, we will be asking the select board if they, what they want.
it's a select board decision.
It's on the
Yeah.
agenda on Monday and
Yes.
Shirley's scheduled to take your recommendation that you guys
Yeah.
made at the previous meeting. So that is on the agenda and will be addressed.
Okay, my main interest is, I asked a friend of mine to give a quote on the signs. And I kind of need to get back to him whether there's really gonna be a job for him to do, or, and
That is not entirely, that has nothing to do with conservation and
I
is
know.
completely dependent on DPW. I would say that's the danger of asking people for quotes. You have to, when you do it, it has to be a very like, we can't guarantee you anything. It has to go out for.
I've told him that.
Yeah,
I
so
would-
I think he's not necessarily going to get an answer unless that's who Jim will
I
choose.
think it'll probably be, the recommendation will be to get them where we got them in the past.
Okay, so that list that I sent you. with the
I would tell-
sign-
It's up to Jim as a matter of operations. We have a purchasing policy and he would follow our town purchasing policy.
And then he can assure that they match, they're the same, because
So the deciding group then is,
The director of public works, or his delegee, because he's the operations person who would deal with the signs. He might delegate it to somebody else on his team. But whoever it is would follow the town purchasing policy.
should I speak to them about the quote so they can talk directly with them?
You can forward it to Jim for his use and knowledge, but I can't make you any promises.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're looking for a new source, sometimes they have an established source.
right.
And within the purchasing policy, in general, and I'm going to vastly oversimplify, it is not the lowest price, it is based on quality, expected work product, and so it is,
Right.
and there's a justification, so
Yep.
It's simply much more simple like than a military or government purchase, like a larger government purchase, but we do have rules.
And I'm sorry, I did not mention my name at the beginning of that whole discussion. Was that Grippy?
Same for Kate
I
Plumley
don't know if
Stewart.
my voice sounds like you other guys.
It's more not being recognized, right?
I want to show, Jim, this sign I had from DES too, because you weren't here, you didn't see this either. They actually, this, our concern was about damage for the wetlands.
Uh-huh.
This actually covers it.
Is it a, sorry, I'm very, I'm just.
But this is, not to take the place of the other sign, but this could be there to,
Did they get these into us for free?
yeah. And so that's. a
Are you
good-
gonna bring that
It's
with
good
you?
information, pardon me,
You'll bring that.
it's good information for,
Yeah. Absolutely.
protecting the wetlands for people who've been using them during the times of the year.
Mhm.
Do
Looks
you
pretty,
want to take a closer look at
yeah,
it?
it looks pretty adorable too.
Okay, so on our correspondence,
That's right.
they permit that the Satchel Bands head on Crystal Lake to replace their seasonal cottage. That's been approved by the state. And I've lived across from them for say how old I am. Well, between 50 and 60 years. And since these children that are in it now were toddlers. And they have kids that graduate from college. But anyways, I have not see their house from my place. The point is, so I have no, I can't imagine them doing anything that would harm. They've always been very, very environmentally conscious. It wouldn't, I can't imagine them doing anything harmful to the lake. And they're putting in a new septic system as they do it too. And then the other one, this was another success story with the septic systems. There's someone that just came in today. They got the approval to put in a new state septic approved system to replace two that were not state approved. And that's on Mascoma. And so that's a lot of good is coming out of this regulation. Because seeing people step right up and replace things that needed to be replaced.
Yeah.
But that's a good thing. And so, and then we have the other two plans. And you have the dates that Rob sent those plans to you with the dates of the site visit and discussions and the planning board hearing for the Bog Road one. So that any of you who are available and interested can attend those. It's actually anyone through public. Yeah.
If you want a larger copy of the Laramie Farms, like if you want to see it,
There it is.
so because it's very, very small, it takes some
I
time.
think this is the latest one. There have been some,
Well, those are the big ones he gave to the zoning board. Those, they're hanging on the, they're
right.
hanging up.
They look about the same size.
They gave their presentation of it these.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to flip through them, you're welcome to. A public document.
And I imagine there'll be, the large plans available up to probably after, at this meeting for the other project.
Where you on Bog Road is that planned for?
That's gonna be single family homes.
Yeah, where though?
It is in a former gravel pit. It was
Yeah.
one of
Oh,
the,
the-
pretty far down near the Springfield line.
Isn't it called a,
No, well,
no, that was the second one.
Yeah. Came to us, to the zoning board, because she wanted to have, I think,
Horse.
a horse farm there. And for a while,
Yeah.
she was the person directing the traffic in front of the school.
she's since moved away, so that is,
And so she's gone.
the horse farm is not gonna happen, so.
Is that where it's gonna be? I mean, being planned?
Yeah, and so what I will tell you is one of this, I was sitting on the board when
Yeah,
she came for that plan. And one of the requirements of the state, and obviously the town reinforced it, was that when you take something that is a former gravel pit, you have to do what's called reclamation. And so she was actively told to do reclamation. I believe she had started the process. I don't know where it is. But so I think there's some conservation things to be interested in. But obviously probably anything that's been reclaimed is better than a dirt hole.
But you really can't see, you have to go down there, you can't see it from the road.
Right, and of course, we can't go down there because we're forbidden by state law unless we're invited.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you
But
can
if
see the
there's a
plan.
Site visit, we had a site visit.
Nope, and you can go if it's an open meeting and there's a site visit, but she's been very transparent and easy to work with, is my personal experience. So I think, you'll find the hearing interesting.
She did everything we asked her to.
I fully agree.
Oh, so any other business come before the meeting?
I make a motion to adjourn.
We need to tell the time before we
At
turn that
8:15.
off. Okay, but anyone second that?
Oh, whoop.
Okay, let's do we don't have to.
No,
do a
it's
vote.
non-debatable, so you can just
No.
say,
So don't turn, we will be adjourning the meeting at
Extras.
8:50.
hi.
Good, because we've got 10 minutes until it rains.
10 minutes till what?